Morning, this is Miss Lee Russell, and I'm calling to talk with you today about Business Math B recruiting costs. And you will find that in your first 5 lessons. Most people really don't realize how costly it is for businesses to hire and recruit employees, so we're going to go over some of that and how, if you own a business, how you calculate those costs. First of all, the definition of hiring. It is a verb, and it means to employ someone for wages. Or another way that you hire people is also for contract work, and this is employment for a short period of time to do a particular job. Recruiting is also a verb, and you're going to seek the services of someone, or you're going to seek to enroll an employee. Okay, in a business, the way that they calculate these costs, it costs them 2 different ways. The person doing the work to hire someone usually gets paid a commission. And then also the person that, if you're recruiting someone that lives like out of state or out of location, what they do is that rate of commission is often based off the sale of price of the home of the person. Recruiting costs also include the advertisement expenses, the interviewing expenses, and the hiring expenses. As you can see, the advertising expenses, they can be pretty varied. We're talking newspaper ads, internet ad fees, job fair booth fees. When you go to the job fairs, all those employers have paid a price to have that booth there. Radio and TV ad fees, those are some of the advertising expenses. The interviewing expenses are the employee's use of their time to schedule, perform, discuss the interview. And there's also literature provided in these interviews. That is also part of the interview expense. Hiring expenses are sign-on bonuses, human resource paperwork for processing, office supplies, computer accounts, insurance, vacation, sick time allotted, and hiring commission paid. Okay, within your workbooks and your checkpoints, you'll find a variety of questions on this subject. So I wanted to come up with an example for you to see how you would plug all this information into the formula. You can see the formula is fairly basic in that you're going to be adding the varied expenses together. Sometimes because the Business Math B problems are a little bit wordier than most math problems, you kind of have to read them a couple times, underline the numbers in it, what the numbers symbolize, and then figure out where to put those numbers into the formula. That's the most difficult part, is taking the numbers and putting them in the correct formula format, okay? So this first example, and you will find many similar to this, again, in your workbook and checkpoints. Example A Phoenix business was searching for a new employee. Advertising expenses totaled $13,234. Interview expenses for the final candidate were $1,328. Hiring expenses included $2,700 in moving costs and a 5% realtor's fee on the $148,231 selling price of the new executive's home. What is the total recruiting cost? Okay, so here's our formula. Hiring cost, remember, you're going to take the rate of commission, which is a percent. And there's only 1% listed in the problem. You can see that. So you'll translate that percent for the rate of commission. Don't forget 5% is 0.05. And the sale price of the home is $148,231. So the hiring cost for them to pay to that person that's going to be moving is $7,411.55. So an employer will offer a certain percent of payment towards the move. The next formula, the total recruiting costs. The first two are pretty straightforward. The advertising expenses are already totaled, so we just plug that in. The interviewing expenses are also totaled, so we can just plug that in. But now here at the end, the hiring expenses are going to include both the totaled $2,700 and the new hiring expense, which is calculated $74,1155. So now you can just total these numbers, and the total recruiting cost is $24,673.55. So as you can see, the most difficult part is taking the numbers and placing them within the formula, because the addition is not difficult. I've included 2 other video clips on recruiting costs. Each of these video clips are about 5 minutes. So if you want to watch those, that would be great. And then don't forget, in order for you to get credit for participation in the class, you can see the Business Math B quiz that is at the end of this. And you can email that back to me. Don't forget to include your title of your Adobe session on the top, the class that you're in, and your name. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or leave me a message. Don't forget, in the Adobe sessions, that you have access to the project information in the upper right corner. You can view those at any time during the Adobe session while I'm teaching, or in the question answer. And in the bottom left are all of the presentations that have been made thus far on the topics in class. You can download those very easily just by clicking on them and click download, and it'll ask you where you want to place it. So I have titled them by the specific concepts that are covered in the class. So if you have any questions in any of the other areas of your class, you can just come in and download those presentations for that, okay? Thank you for attending Business Math B Recruiting Costs, and I will see you in your next Adobe session. Have a great day.